sobs of the violins of autumn wound my heart with a monotonous language.
Мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции.
Today at 1, we're live in Ukraine as Russia invades in a major military assault by land, sea and air.
It's now more than a month since the US Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, visited Taiwan. China's ambassador to Australia also issued a blunt warning a few days ago that those who push for Taiwanese independence will be punished.
We're waiting for a peaceful reunification, but we cannot rule out other options.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed, it'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore.
Welcome to Dictators v Democrats, Why We Fight, the show where we speak with those on the front lines of defending democracy. New episodes drop every Friday. If you value this work, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a review. It makes a huge difference. You can also support us on Patreon, Substack, or Buy Me a Coffee. Paid supporters get episodes a week early. Also, check out my work on the Dictators v Democrats Substack and YouTube channels, where I cover every front of the global fight for democracy, and join our Discord community. Now, let's find out why they fight. Welcome to Why We Fight. I am very pleased to be here with LK, who is a Hongkonger artist, puppeteer, playwright, and dissident, now living in exile. This is the first time, and I imagine it'll be hopefully one of many, that I'm interviewing an artist, because art plays such a significant role in culture and in dissent that I'm very glad that we've managed to arrange this. LK, thank you very much for coming on to the program.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
You've described theatre as a way of resisting silence. Do you see yourself as an artist who became an activist, or an activist who uses art as your medium?
I think for me, first, I never really used my art to do any activism. Because for me, if you compose, if you put a very strong idea, especially political idea, it will become propaganda, actually. And for me, art supposed to make people think, but to question, to observe, but not give you a statement. So this is why, for me, I separate them. I mean, activism is I have my strong idea. I want to do. I want to lobbying the others or trying to spread. But with the art, it's not this kind of thing. Because actually, I really believe that art should be able to make the comfort uncomfortable and uncomfort being comfortable. So for me, art is something like that. So for me, it is already kind of rebellion, but much more fundamental, not only serving for one idea. Even that idea is about freedom. That idea is talking about something very positive in my point of view. But for me, art shouldn't be like that.
What is art to you?
Art is actually my theater company is called Theater Ash. So why is ash? Because for me, it is the form of art. Is I grab materials or inspiration from the daily life, ordinary life, or what happens actually near us. And then we use a very high energy and concentration and effort, just like fire, to burn it down and to make it like small pieces and then can be spread everywhere. And that may be not something beautiful, but it is something have a process. So this is for me, it is a part of art. For me, the really good art is something to make you think, make you kind of shaking, because so-called art, no matter visual art, a piece of music, a piece of theater, or a movie, basically they are only with your life like 1 hour, 2 hour maximum, maybe 3 hours, like very, very maximum, like opera, for example. It's just a very small moment of life. But this small moment should be able to take you to dream or take you to rethink, take you away from the reality with your imagination through the imagination of the artist.
I have found that. I review music as well. It's another of my journalistic gigs. And I have found that the transformative effect of a 4-minute track can be absolutely profound, and it can make you question things you never thought you would be able to.
I think that's the kind of magic of art. And also for me is like, I remember like when I do directing or producer, I always told my team one thing: the theater ticket is like a little contract between us and the audience. It is a contract they pay or not pay, but with this contract, you can come in specific time and specific place, and here we're going to lead you dream and get away from the reality for a while. It's a journey. So for me, it is the meaning. It is the format of the art fundamental for me. It is not necessary to be something very big idea, or it's just an experience. And then furthermore, what you want to propose as an experience. So the audience, reader, whatever, they're coming in this piece of art for looking what we are proposing. It doesn't mean that I will change you, I will do whatever. No, because my art is only representing my idea or my team's idea, our idea, in that period of time. Even I can change. Maybe after the show, also, no, I don't agree with what I'm saying in the show. And it doesn't matter because it's just like a kind of water drop to the audience life, and also a water drop, which is from the water drop from my life. I don't know how to say that. But yeah, it's just more like this encounter. And this is also why I like live theater. Even live theater never be very, very popular. It's because you can have this kind of exchange immediately. You can feel the energy, which is beyond words. It's the sensibility. Like you can feel it. You can feel what the audience hate, what the audience like, what the moment of the audience like distract or whatever. So that is, for me, this is the beauty of the live performance for me. Music, I'm sure, is the same. Dance is the same. So that is something like, this is why for me art, performing art, for example, is way bigger than just delivering a message and a statement and forcing everyone to agree with your statement. I think that is very important. But also, I know right now the trend is not like that. Political statement sometimes, no, most of the time is more important than the show itself because it's creating a soundbite, making it be more easy to understand. So it can be cut into pieces to promote in social media and all that. To grab the eyes for much more easier, which is I could understand. That's true, because art, at the end is a kind under the capitalism. This is also kind of business, so I can understand that. But it doesn't mean I totally agree with that. Just like I respect this way as well. I understand about the marketing and all thing. But for me, this is not the foundation of the art. It could be one kind of thing. Why not? Basically, I would say the official answer is theater, is puppetry, mask, object theater. That is the official answer. But for the real answer is whatever is work and whatever is fun.
What draws you to What draws you to puppetry and object theatre?
I think puppetry and object theater I like it because it's dangerous. Because imagine like object theater and puppetry basically is making something not alive to be seems alive. So, which means also mask as well, but it's a doll or it's just an object. An object could be just a lighter and you manipulate it like people think it's alive. Of course, everyone know that it's alive. And so, which means the audience will put much more effort to imagine what is that. And then a lot of ideas or image, which is maybe quite cruel, which is really hard to really tell by the actual scene with actual actor or actress, could be quite easily to be told through object theater. For example, I make an improvisation of object theater with my friends. We're talking, it's like a kid play, but we are talking about old days. So in one of the scene is the hero met a monster who eats the villagers. Mm-hmm. So what we use a little toy bucket, like they have teeth and all that. Like we just look at that. Oh my God, it's a monster. And then we have a lot of little candies, chocolate and candies with the wrapped candies. And they're like really just like, oh my God, let's run. And then we just grab one piece of chocolate, open the chocolate wrapped, and just put it in the mouth. We played it with the kid. Some of the kids cry.
Oh no.
It's like, oh, you're eating it. It was like, yes. So even the adult sense that, but that is something very interesting, dangerously interesting, and because you project yourself in it, you project. So it is unlimited. And this is why even just a very small actions, like very reasonable, you just eat a piece of chocolate, you just open the wrap and then just eat it. But in your head is somebody's clothes being wrapped off and being chewing. But in the same time, it's safe. It is safe. That is the one of the thing I discover is you want people to imagine more. You need to make people feel safe in the very beginning, but actually it's even though it's maybe not at the end.
And this is a political podcast. We talk about history. We talk about what's happening in the world now. And you've gone on a political journey. And you say you keep your art separated as a wall from your activism. But I want to explore, what was it like working in theatre, in art in Hong Kong originally? And then when did you start to see things change?
Luckily, I didn't experience the actual change of Hong Kong because I left Hong Kong in 2019, December. Mm-hmm. But because I have friends there, there's still a little bit project I was kind of participate in. I think the big change is because of national security law being established. Lots, I think, all the script, we're talking about theater, but actually it's more than theater, even short film, movies, and drawings, they are all being censored. Even though sometimes they're not like the government not really directly arrest you or really give you an official charge, but they will give stress for the venue, for example, or something else to make your things can't be happen. It is not only about your content. It could be also about the date. For example, there was a movie. The movie is fine. The movie has nothing to do with the political issues, but because it is on 4th of June, which is the Tiananmen Square Massacre Day, And the cinema was they no longer make any statement. But during 2019, this cinema was kind of supporting the Hong Kong movement. Kind of, because they don't really make a very definite statement as well. But because of that, there was a lot of police surround the cinema. I think they also give stress to the cinema. So they need to cancel the several screening over there for the independent movie, which just have nothing to do with political. So you can imagine, for example, like some little exhibition, they need to be canceled because of there's one piece of work have showing umbrella, which is yellow umbrella. So people say, okay, this is umbrella movement. Like that. So yes, basically right now is a kind of like suppress. And in the same time, a lot of people start to try to search the crack of the wall built by the authorities, just like the Chinese artists do all the time. But unfortunately, right now, the Hong Kong government, Hong Kong authority, they don't really know where the red line is. It's so they make it very blur. They don't know how to please the central government, I think. So they make it extremely tight. The association or the departments had, they make it even strict. And then for the artists, they start to have self-censor, which is much more strict. That is why I think in Hong Kong right now is very, very difficult for creation. I'm not saying that if you create, you need to do something, criticize the political issues. It's not. But it is the problem is it's very hard for you to create with that kind of like so much layers, so much chain of the self censorship. I think that is the most terrifying thing. And also not only talking about art, but also even when you post something on internet, you will think, even I will think sometimes, because my family is still in Hong Kong. So even I will think sometimes like, maybe I cannot use my actual account to say something like that because it may create some problem for somebody. So that kind of censorship is, this is also what we're talking about. Like when we're talking about the regime censorship, is not you will be safe when you get out from the country. No, basically, it is a mark. It is a boundary which is built inside your heart. No matter where you go, you have it because you worry. Because you're not only worried about yourself, but you worry about your family, your people. So it's like a hostage, actually. It's like they kidnapped your loved ones. This is the whole situation.
Transnational repression, it's something I've spoken about a lot, and many of the people I speak to on this show are living through it. Would your work get through those censors, do you think?
Well, I am facing that too. I am. And I'm not sure now, I'm still facing it, but yes, I'm several times. Got threatened. Also, my family in Hong Kong also got threatened as well by authorities. And I also being followed several times in France, in Paris. They're powerful. And also my mom also being invited for a meeting, which is lasts for 48 hours meeting with the, not police, they are officers, for question something. And also I have one time is my computer was being stolen on the train in France. 1 week later, when my mom, some officers, they didn't really say who they are. Actually, it just like it's a kind of invitation. You cannot say no to my mom. And then they questioned my mom for, I think, more than 10 hours. They show my mom some photos, which is those photos from my computer, which I lost in France. I don't know how to get it. I don't know. I cannot imagine that. And I don't want to imagine that. Unfortunately, then that computer don't really have some sense of contact or whatever. But my cases are not that serious. I compare with the others. I was never been kidnapped, never been hurt physically. But what they are doing is they give you a mental fraction, mental destroy to make you, because they want nothing from me, basically. Right now, I'm not really that threatened for them. I don't think so. But it is something like they want to create this kind of horror, this kind of fear planted inside your heart, inside your brain, inside you. So no matter how tough you would like to be, you know that's something, some kind of fear. Even I am in a kind of a calm life here, but this kind of fear is, if some moment I'm not tough enough in my mindset, I can be down. Even there's nothing happened. It's the mindset problem. So I think what the regime's doing, the dictators doing very well in some sense, is they know how to create. They know how to create that. So that's why actually I'm quite sure they don't really care about dissidents so much in some sense. What they care is, can they control the dissidents? And in some country, you can see, for example, China, even Turkey, they even use the dissidents. I'm not saying that they use the dissidents to be a spy or something like that. Mm-hmm. That is another case. Something happened like that is true. It is more like use it by creating fear or from the dissidents' reaction to get something advantage. I think more clear example is during 80s of China. Every single time in that period of time, every single time when China need to negotiate something with America, they always say, "Okay, we'll release how many political prisoners," something like that. So it's like and this kind of thing also, you can see this kind of thing right now still happen in Africa, in many countries. They are doing that kind of lower level of dictators, but still they are using them. Neither they are showing that, we have no problem, we are open, because those dissidents still alive outside the country. They still, this kind of sound, this kind of voice still exists. For me, it is they group even the dissidents as one part of the tragedy. Yeah, so I'm not sure people will agree with me, but I think this is what I observed all these years, since 2019 up to right now. I have a very strong feeling about this kind of thing, because even Chile, even a couple of countries, I can say they're doing this kind of tricks actually.
Have you ever faced any sort of censorship threats in regards to your work?
I think by theater, not really. From China or from France.
From France a little bit.
But it is something different, because it's not really censorship. It's just more like maybe when I have a piece of theater which is mocking about puppeteer and the police violence in France and all that. It was the government fund playing, and they said maybe this part you can say it, but maybe you can make it a bit more mild, like this kind of thing. So luckily I didn't go to China yet, but France. I experienced that in France, which is a bit weird, I know, but
nobody is immune to this kind of thing, and this is why it needs to be constantly called out, especially in a country which claims to be a democracy with a proud history of that. I want to ask a little about your activism. So what were you involved with?
Mainly, I'm talking about, usually the reason why the journalists or politicians would like to see me, or usually they ask me to write about, is about Hong Kong situation, Hong Kong democracy, and also human rights of Hong Kong, which is I'm more focused on human rights, freedom of speech, especially. I mainly do lobbying for that. But globally, what I'm actually doing is I just care about human rights in general. So that's why I have an NGO in France called Africa Hong Kong France. We helped asylum seekers, not only political asylum seeker, but also in general. We help them to go through the process and all that. I think because fundamentally, I don't really believe in borders. I don't really, that's the problem. So if you say, oh, I fight for the identity of Hong Kong, or like, no, I'm fighting for the freedom of speech of places, of a place. So
these ideas are universal.
Yeah. But because I'm from Hong Kong, because my past and my position, the most convincing way is talking about Hong Kong. So that's why it's more. It seems like I'm more focused on Hong Kong, but actually, in general, I care about human rights. I care about freedom of speech.
Your charity, focuses on human rights. What is the focus of the work with regards to pushing that forward?
That's a good question, because I'm now it's already my fourth year, or just fifth year, which is focusing on it. In this stage, I am kind of passive right now because I'm rethinking, actually. Before that, yes, organize assembly talks, public talks, lobbying with different councils like United Nations, Europe Union, Assemblée Nationale, the Congress of Paris, all that, an NGO, giving information to the NGO and et cetera. But the thing, and also helping the refugees and all that. And now basically I think the only thing I'm kind of still keep doing is helping the refugee settlement, because I am kind of tired to become a part of the game, or a piece of the puzzle for the game to be used by politicians. Actually, well, I can say very strictly, yes, I don't want to. I'm kind of tired about that, and I see a lot of people still doing that already, because there's two ways. One, of course, because this is something, it seems you're making progress, because you always feel like you're making progress. Like you take a photo, or you tell people, oh, who you were talking today, and you also know it will never be an actual big process until the moment the country you kind of the regime you against they are having a trouble, like China during COVID. Then yes, you got a lot of process, but now the process already go back to the starting point, because China no longer being blamed and the economic seems going up again. So your process, your so-called results are going backward, actually. And I'm not really interested to become a full-time or kind of fund activist in some sense. And I don't have it, and I'm not interested in it. So that is something I don't think I'm having as much as passion to do that. Yes, if something I agree, I support. Like I still support in something just for helping and all that. But if you're asking me, do I want to create, for example, a protest, or organize an assembly actively for this topic, I'm no longer. Nowadays, if you talk about activism right now, I'm more organizing something about diaspora in Europe. Yeah, the topic also is a kind of my art theme right now. Yeah. Talking about diaspora, how kind of stranger the foreigners live in another country, what they are facing what's the problem with them, even though they're born here, but because their race are different, so they during their grow up journey they also have a different level of discrimination and all that. And I think this is kind of the voice which is the world should be here in some sense. So so that's why I am more doing and organizing the events or the activities for this kind of project. So yeah, this is what I kind of transforming in some sense, but this is not because I changed my mind. It's just because the flow is like that.
And how has that experience been for you as a member of the Hong Kong diaspora in Paris?
Very hard. First, because my French is not so good, not good enough. That is a problem because if you are in France, it's really hard for you not good in French to find a job. Especially, I'm a refugee status and I'm from Hong Kong, like China. So which means I cannot really work in Chinese company or Chinese restaurant. I can't even rent a place from Chinese. And if you know how strong Chinese community in Europe in general, you'll understand I basically have I would say nearly 50% of companies I cannot work with. Even I find a place here, I find my apartment is through my friend from Japan to introduce this, because it's really hard to rent a place in Paris. Actually, if you there's like guarantee, there's a lot of strict rules, which is impossible. Even French people cannot really reach that strict rules. So usually they rent it from Chinese, and I was like, okay, I can't. So luckily, I got another Asian community to be able to do. I think as a Hong Kong diaspora, maybe it's okay, but as a Chinese dissidents, Hong Kong diaspora who don't really speak good French, is I still searching a way to survive all the time. So I think that is the problem for me, and that is the life, the survival aspect. And if you talk about spiritual, mental, it's hard in some sense as well. First, imagine like you're alone in another country and you barely can contact with your family, which is I can feel that I lost my anchor. Which is before, I think if you ask like 6 years ago, LK, she will feel like, well, it's okay. I don't really talk with my moms. I didn't really call her like this fine. But since I excelled, I can feel very strongly anchor is the root of a person. Yeah, I have really good friends here, nearly like my family. Luckily I have friends in many different countries as well. But this is not anger. This is you feel you are just joining someone's life. And I talk with quite a lot of refugees and here. A lot of them have this quite similar feeling with me. No, even though they're already even married here, have kids here, of course they love their family, but still, it doesn't mean that it can be really replace this feeling of anchor.
Do you think it's possible to build a new anchor in a new place, having been exiled from your home?
I'm sure, actually. The building a new, well, I don't have it yet, so I cannot really tell you. Imagine, I saw someone, they feel fine here, but actually, how I can know somebody actually fine or not? Actually, especially if you ask me randomly, I would say yes, I'm fine. I have good friends here. No. But I think rebuild an anchor is not something that easy. Well, maybe also in my age also, like I'm 40 something. So as maybe also because of the age. So I don't know. This is very hard in some sense.
Has the French government offered much assistance?
I would say because of the government policy, which is I think it's kind of fair in some sense, but it's also a sad thing. I think mainly when the refugee got support, they always assume that in 3 years you are supposed to be ready to be independent, even though most of the thing is mostly impossible. But regarding the resources and other things, so I can understand that you cannot support like unlimited or infinity. So if you talk about resources, not so much. Regarding I'm already in my sort of nearly 4th year. I'm stepping in 4th year of my asylum. So that is kind of hard. The best is I got asylum status, so I don't need to worry about where I can stay. Believe me that even though I don't believe in border, I hate passport, but when you have a passport, you feel secure.
Yeah.
You feel exist about. Actually, it's also true. If you are in the airport, if your passport is not with you, which means you are not really a human being in some sense. Like this is what I experienced when I got some problem in the border of Singapore. I need to be sent back, but I need to be sent back in France, which is lovely. If not, I need to be sent back to Hong Kong.
Yeah. No.
And then I said like, no, but I was want to try to negotiate, but they said like, no, because when the passport, if you without the passport, it's not like you lost it accidentally. It's like if they see some problem and my visa problem is something very small thing, like I misspell something only, but still that is already enough. If you don't have your passport, basically, I was being captured in the contents room in Singapore for 48 hours. Basically, they give you food and they don't not allow you to use mobile phone. I think they allow you to use mobile phone like 5 hours per day. And then you need to use it under the CCTV camera. They just treat you whatever they want. Of course, there's like a very they will give you human right in some sense, like make you survive over there. And then it depends on what they want to give. And I talk with a lot of people over there as well. So I have a strong feeling is internationally, there's no human being. It's only how to say that. Legal bodies. Human being is not important. Are you legal bodies or not is important. And unfortunately right now, how to identify yourself as a legal body is a valid, legit, or even powerful passport.
Yeah.
So I will never think about that if I'm not being refugee, because as a refugee, usually, if you suspect to be a refugee, first thing is your passport will be taken. You are no longer where you're from. You are somebody with the nationality. And that is also kind of shock for me in some sense. The shock is not I don't have nationality. The shock is I don't know that nationality is that important. Is affecting everything. So that is also make me very curious about like my art right now is exploring that. Like, what's mean by that? Like, what is that? What is the belongings? You need to belong to something. than you exist. And that is like, this is like kind of an actual fact. This is not something poetic, beautiful word for, no, this is actual truth. Most of the people don't need to care about that because you already have it. Even you can say, oh, I don't care. I hate my country. Oh, I don't need my passport. I can burn it. Yes, you can burn it because you can reapply it.
Yes.
So that is the thing. You burn whatever you want. You destroy whatever you want. You get this. But when you become someone who actually lost it, you will understand how much the fear not belongs to anything is. This fear is eating you. It's not only make you question about yourself, but it's you will face basically all the problem. Like, for example, if I book an air ticket, if I apply for something, the moment of you see the nationality, I don't know how to write it. Luckily, I'm a very lucky refugee because I have BNO, British nationality overseas. I have that. So for travel, for that, it's good. It's fine. But still, I cannot say I'm UK citizenship because I'm not. I cannot say I'm France because I don't have French nationality too. Mostly, you don't have a refugee protect by which. No, they don't have this. Usually, they don't have this choice. So every single time, you have a very strong rebound. Like we think, so who am I? Okay, what I can do with that every single time.
You've said your work is focusing on the diaspora.
Mm.
Who are you aiming that at? And are you trying to help create a new identity of the dissident abroad?
I mix several things right now. I'm working on it. I'm not sure it could be happening because I'm applying for funding. First, I work with a diaspora film festival in Paris, which is a group of filmmakers for diaspora in Europe in general. They are creating a film festival, so I'm helping them with that. This is not the project I lead, but this is a project I participate. I'm trying to create a series of projects to, for example, I'm organizing an event called Sister Pride, which is focusing on female refugees who arrived in France or Italy within 2 years. So the concept is we want to, through theater skills, to let them to be able to speak about their story. And on the top, we will pair them up with fashion designers and create them based on their story to create an outfit for them. Why I have this idea basically is from my personal experience. While I was not planned to come to France, I did not plan to flee out into France and then stay here. I was planned to come here as a short trip. So that's why in my suitcase is only winter clothes. I think it's like 3 pair of jeans, 1 skirt for a bit official, 1 shirt, 5 t-shirts, 2 jackets, 3 sweaters. I can name it because it's just really like that.
What was the moment where you realized you had to stay, that you couldn't leave?
It's the moment when I'm in France. I was going somewhere, like my plan was in France, and then I extend my journey. And then later on, I went to another country, Chile, to do a journalist coverage, like cover the protests over there, because I was worked part-timely work with independent media in Hong Kong. And then when I come back, it was like 2020 February, where just COVID already arrived in Asia. So, well, I thought COVID in that period of time is like SARS, it just like affects in several countries or even cities for a few months. So that's why my family also encouraged me, like, maybe you should stay a bit longer. So you come back later. And unfortunately, the rest of the story is COVID is not only a few months. And it's
Yes.
not only in Asia. So I was being blocked in France until one day I have a friend who do protest, also activists who work in the customer office in the airport. Told me that I'm not sure why, but your name and your ID number and passport number is on the alert list, which means if you pass through the border, the police will have a alert. We don't know what's that mean because they didn't put a charge on you. They didn't put any reason, but you are on that. So I think like, oh my God, so I cannot go back for a while. When I rethink and I want to contact back my friend again, I saw her name on the news, which is she got arrested. So that is a kind of direct threat for me. And then later on is a national security law arrived. Basically, I broke all the rules. I broke some rules. So it's kind of, it's not easy to not break, actually. So anyway, and a lot of my friends got arrested, or somebody I knew got arrested. There's a wave of arrestation. So in that moment, I start to realize maybe I can't really go back. After thinking and talk with my mom, and my mother told me like, well, for your safety, you should stay, and we will meet each other in the free Hong Kong. Honestly, in that moment, I was like, what the like, wow, which mean is we never see each other again. Like, I really won't say that. I was crying. I was crying, but I didn't show it. I just said, okay, like kind of trying to have a smile, but actually I'm sure she was crying too in that moment when she said that. So that is the moment I realized I cannot go back. And also, I still thinking about to go to UK, but in that period of time, even the border between UK and France is blocked. So at the end, I kind of been half pushed, also being decide to become a refugee. But if you be refugee, which means you will no longer go back, which is a decision. So
a hard decision.
Very hard. It's very hard.
What rules did you break under the national security law?
According to them, terrorists spread ideas which affecting national security, which is basically any criticism of the government. China is a country with a lot of secrets, Even I don't know if you've heard this joke, but like several years ago, even somebody living in Beijing just comment about the weather of Beijing because of air pollution. He got arrested because he leaked out the secret of the nation.
I mean, the secret is up.
In
the air around you, and it's not exactly.
And the thing is, they never tell you what is the secret. So, that
Kafka-esque.
And also the bottom line always change anyway. But basically, if you joined or engaged in 2019 protests or any kind of protest, basically you are kind of terrorist.
And you were there.
Yes, and then secondly is you talked about this to NGO for the foreign. It's like you are, I don't know how to say this in English. I forgot the terms, but it's like you are working with the foreign agency, which can be harm the national security. And those agencies, including Amnesty, International Amnesty, Reporter Without Borders, all that.
I'm sure you've been asked this a million times before. The experience in Hong Kong in 2019, I spoke to a chap. He was there. Now he's in Ukraine building drones. And he says he's there in Ukraine because he feels like he failed in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have this feeling too. I went to Ukraine before. I went to Ukraine during the second week of the war as a journalist. In that period of time, a lot of Hongkongers going, especially the person who live in UK. I think they also have this kind of projection. Not me. I have another reason, but I will tell later. I met quite a lot of Hongkongers there. It's funny because in the border, I can even speak Cantonese with a group of 10 person. We're talking about the food in Hong Kong and all that. It's kind of crazy. It's it's so crazy. You're in the border between Poland and Ukraine. And also I have another little conversation near the border of Ukraine side. It's just super strange. But they also have the similar feeling is because we lost in Hong Kong. And we don't want to see the loss being happen again. Is this kind of drive is not only people not only demonstrate this projection in Ukraine, I mean Hong Kongers, but also Taiwan. I mean Taiwan is more direct. For example, like recently, there was a big election in Taiwan.
The recall vote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of Hong Kongers coming out and say like, we only can demonstrate once. You don't want to be the next Hong Kong, so come and vote and all that. I can feel that feeling as well because I also record a voice message to my Taiwanese friend, and after she published that too, I was crying and say like, please Taiwanese, please keep up. We already lost, and the consequence of failure is terrible. So please just defense when you can. I was crying and say that in Mandarin. So which mean actually me personally, I also drive in that is, but I don't know the other Hong Kong protester, but even during the movement, I think most of us know that we're not going to win. We know that it's really hard. And Hong Kong protests, I mean, I cannot represent anyone actually.
No,
because
only yourself. Yeah,
I can only represent myself. Or somebody I know, which I heard what they said in that moment, because maybe now he changed his mind, is we coming out, I coming out, is not because we know that we're going to win. Is we don't want to die in silence. We fighting for very, very, very big miracle. And it's so normal we lost. That's why you can see how people selflessly fight. It's so selfless. It's for Hong Kong, it's a something very, very rare to see it because, we're a capital city. Money, resources is the most important for us. And that is also why in Hong Kong protests, after the Hong Kong protests, I go to a lot of protests, like the protests in Chile, protests in France, protests in Colombia and all that. But you can feel that it's so funny. Oh, I didn't go to Colombia. I'm more like interview the people in Colombia.
Yeah.
And then you can see that I never see a protest with so much resources. If you go to a protest zone, you don't need to worry about food. You don't need to be worried about water. You don't even need to worry about clothing to change and all that because they are all there. Even the ticket to go back home or even the transportation, you don't care because we even have a channel, like a Telegram channel, just like a Uber, but free Uber. You can the voluntary driver will drive you in the place you need to go. And then on the car, sometimes most of the car, they have clothes for you to change. You have food, you have drink, and we even have safety house for people. It's a system. I never see this kind of scale actually, but maybe this is a good thing as a capitalism city. because we are using capitalism to fight against the government. But why we get so many things is because everyone fights like selfless, like didn't hold back physically, financially, including me. I have a lot of friends really bankrupt because of the movement. They lost, no, I will not say lost, they donate so much money. So even their own places or their own house and all that. And that's kind of willing to sacrifice to invest in a big bet, which is even less opportunity to win than lottery, is very, very rare. Very, very rare in Hong Kong. We are good in calculation. But that moment is a huge motivation for you to do that. Everyone just thinking about what I can do more beyond my ability, what I can do more. Like I'm a theater artist. I never thought I needed to lobbying for politicians overseas. I don't know what is UN. I don't know what is Europe Council. What is their strategy? I don't know, but I need to study about that. I remember, like, I in that moment, unfortunately, don't have ChatGPT, so I need to read every single document I can find. I study very hard for that. I would say it's the most studying I ever did in my life. Every single time when I need to meet someone or some NGO and all that, I need to do all the study. I learn how to do fact checking. I learn how to do all the things, skills. And just for example, the Telegram channel, I would tell you before the Hong Kong movement, which is 2019, I think if you mention what is Telegram on May, nobody know what the fuck you're talking about. But in July, somebody who never used Telegram, a group of people, they can create a channel just like Uber for helping. And also we create a map, the Hong Kong map in that moment to show where's the police, where the thing. It was created by somebody who never know coding and app.
They learned coding
they're housewives. They're saying, okay, we have time, so we do that. Like when a lot of people, when a big group of people trying to think what they can step forward, the energy is crazy. So that is the charm of the Hong Kong movement, I would say.
If you could go back knowing the outcome, would you do it again?
Oh, yes, because actually I know the outcome the day I come out. Unfortunately, I think most of the people know that. I think most of the people, if they don't know, it's a bit weird, actually. Come on. But I would do again. Maybe do in a better way. Not sure, but I will still come out. Yeah.
I want to ask a little bit about what these things all mean to you, about your values, the concepts of freedom, of democracy. Democracy is a million things to a million people, and human rights. What do they mean to you, and why are they valuable?
First, I think human rights and freedom of speech is a foundation of how a human being live in a society can have a chance without most of the fear. It is not something advanced. It is the basic. If you don't have you don't need to be feared because you say something out. You can face the threat of lose your freedom, physical freedom. I mean, prisoners. You can, if you have the human rights, which mean you can have the basic security, basic life, safety nets, which you can be survive. Then you can start to seek of how to have a life in society, not survive only. That is very fundamental for me. This is a life and death matter, actually. It's just a ticket. It's just a ticket of a survival for me. It's not even the real trip or a gift. No, it's not a gift. Somebody said, like, you don't need to have human rights and freedom of speech. It sounds like a gift from government or whatever. But it's not. Why we need freedom of speech and human rights is because right now, the society system make you cannot live without. If you are not everything controlled by the government or several authorities, you can escape somewhere freely or whatever. Who cares about your rules? But you set up these rules. So of course you need to set up a safety net for people. And for me, it's this. So actually, every time when I do lobbying, and even in my refugee, my asylum interview, I'm in with this attitude. It's not I'm begging you to take me. No, you signed the contract. You create the system about the tax, all that, and you also create that. It's the full package. So I'm not begging you. You sign a contract. I'm here to tell you to execute what you promised. It's just that. And I also, so I'm kind of, yeah, I know. As a refugee, I'm not a grateful refugee. It's like, oh my God, I'm so glad that people give you human rights and all that. No, I should have it. And I think this is very important to think in this way. Because this is strength as an individual human being. It is just like social welfare and all that. It's not because you're begging for mercy. It is a safety net. And why I need a safety net? Because the whole system make me cannot have another alternative. And I also tell them the person who's seeking asylum when they are fears that, what if the judge don't like me and all that. I say, you don't care. You don't care because you are here to demonstrate your rights. Of course, it's their right to say yes or no, but you're not here to please them, to ask them to help you, because no matter how you please them, if they say no, it's a no. Actually, they will not say, you're so poor and all that. Yeah, with mercy. No, there's no mercy in the system. Actually,
no, there isn't.
No, that's nothing. So why you beg for mercy? Because it's not about mercy. They receive you. It's not because they mercy. No, it's because you fucking signed a contract. That's it. So that is So that is my belief in the freedom of speech and also human rights. This is fundamental. Why is fundamental? Because we so-called civilization and the society system right now give us no other choice. We need to follow the rules how to live in this society. And human rights and freedom of speech is just a basic security net. We can be able to survive. At least I can survive. I don't need to be worried. And I can live a bit freely.
Is the essential right to tell somebody wearing an expensive suit to fuck off?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's essential.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm sure you have seen the ongoing movement that we're seeing in politics in the established democracies happening all over them. Britain, France, Germany, the United States obviously is backsliding. People seem to be losing faith with the things that we just spoke about. Democracy, human rights, freedom of speech. What do you have to say to those people?
I think Before I say something to those people, first I will say is I think democracy is like love. Everyone have different definition, and freedom and democracy is like right now is like empty terms. Like I love you, and then what's love? Like is sometimes is it's because it's so big. Democracy is a little bit more narrow because actually it's just, but the idea or the concept people put it is become huge and generalized. But if I make it, if I make a definition of it, is kind of fighting for people to can have a choice and speak kind of freely without serious consequence, which is mean in jail, like physically injured or like all that. Then I would say freedom and democracy are never free. They are never easy. What you got right now, even it's unfair sometimes, or even most of the times, is countless blood created, a lot of fights created. It doesn't matter you lost faith or whatever. You can only fight. If you still want to have a chance to live without fear, or your next generation live without fear, that's the only way. You can fight smartly, or you can make the thing more clear. Because if you stop fighting, like what, they will take over. They will take over very fast. You can see right now in the world. I think the martial arts law in South Korea last year is a quite strong example. Yes, it's kind of nonsense for president. Basically, he's saying something which is impossible to be passed. But in that thing, you can feel that right now, democracy and freedom can be just collapsed in 1 second. A person crazy enough to make a very weird order can already destroy it. You can see we have Trump right now. Yes. Xi Jinping also. Like there's a lot right now. So it is if you are not prepared, if you don't have a spirit to fight against, you just lost. And why they can be doing this? Because sometimes I'm thinking why in so-called democratic countries, why the president can do whatever they want, but actually it's not, because you have the counter. It's because before the people don't really care so much about politics. And so the political party, you just let the political parties or let the politicians or the boss of the big companies, they change the laws eventually, slowly, to take the power from people, even the people never noticed. So, and also, if you fight for democracy, if you believe in the democracy, which means you are also have a responsibility of your society, which means you need to know, you need to read, and you need to investigate underneath what is that. It's not like now you have a huge problem right now. Oh my God, it's a big, huge problem. So, I fight, I try, and then I cannot do anymore. No. Because if that you didn't do your part as a democracy, because you don't know what's happening. I'm not saying that because I know it. No, I say it because the mistake I made. Actually, a lot of Hongkongers make too. Well, we are kind of passive because we are colonized. We've been colonized by British, and then we've been hanged. Yes, but in the same time, we ignore many chances maybe could be changed. So that's why even the big fights cannot really change anything. I think this is, for me personally, is one of the guilt we have. I have in some sense, because I cannot speak for the others. So yeah, if you make it like a one sentence is, well, I would say very rude, very strict is.
That's right.
I know you, the fighters, I know you're tired, you lost faith. Unfortunately, when you need to demonstrate your choice until the end, that is no way. You can find different way to fight, but you can't give up. Or you give up this idea.
Thank you. And my final question often ends in quite a short and sharp response. Do you have a message to send, something that you want to say to the authoritarians, the dictators of the world, or the people who want to be those people?
Wow, so much. I mean, to make you sharp instead of just cursing them.
I mean, I have had John Sweeney tell Vladimir Putin to fuck off. Paul Conroy say, we're coming for you. Can be anything from a Georgian politician who said that. I've seen somebody working for the Georgian Dream Party, the pro-Russia one, that's doing a lot of awfulness there. And they just look terrible now. To the sword of Damocles, which is what Professor Galliotti said, always hangs over their head.
I was fuck off. And it's better you never lost your power. Otherwise, your death will be even worse than the worst victim you harm.
Well, that is certainly short and sharp. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Why We Fight. Thank you very much indeed for listening.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Why We Fight. What struck you most about their story? What did you agree or disagree with? Drop a comment and let us know. And if this conversation meant something to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who cares about democracy as much as you do. To get early access and support independent journalism, join us on Patreon or Substack. Links are in the description. And if you want to connect with a global community of people who care about freedom and human rights, come hang out with us on Discord. Until next time, remember, democracy is non-negotiable.